All right, so are you ready to dive deep into this whole world of cycling apparel with me?
I am. I am. Sounds good. Let's do it.
Awesome. Okay, so we're talking all about the stuff that can seriously make or break your ride,
Right.
whether we're talking commuting, training, or just kind of, cruising around for fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you sent over some articles, some really cool forum threads, even a YouTube video.
Uh-huh.
It seems like everyone's got some pretty strong opinions on what we should be wearing on the bike.
It's funny. Cycling apparel can be like a surprisingly passionate topic for some people.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. What's interesting to me is how it all seems to tie back to how people identify as cyclists, Like what kind of rider they are.
It's like, yeah, like your clothes are kind of a statement.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so I'm trying to sift through all this info.
Mhm.
What's the first thing we got to tackle for someone who's like just figuring out what their cycling wardrobe should even look like?
Well, I think we got to start with the essentials, right? Like the must-haves versus the nice-to-haves.
Gotcha.
For example, like a helmet. No question about it. That's non-negotiable.
Of course. Of course.
But then you got those super aero skin suits that you see the pros wearing.
Right.
Probably not essential for your average rider.
Yeah. Okay. Safety and function come first.
Absolutely.
So I saw a few people online talking about how they like totally regretted skipping padded shorts on their first long ride.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Did you see anything in the research that kind of spoke to that?
Oh, there's this great story on Reddit that I think sums it up perfectly.
Okay.
So, this new writer, right, he goes out without padded shorts.
Oh, no.
And, he quickly discovers, let's just say, why that's a rookie mistake.
Ouch.
Yeah. So, those shorts or bibs with that built-in chamois pad?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're there to, prevent chafing and give you some cushion, especially on longer rides.
Okay. Yeah. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So padded shorts, check. What else makes it onto that must-have list?
Next up, I'd say base layers. Think of them as the foundation of your cycling outfit. They're, super important for regulating your temperature and keeping you dry.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And this is where fabric choice really, really matters.
Okay, so we saw a lot of debate about materials, right? Like synthetics, merino wool, even some people mentioning cotton,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
which I gotta say was a little surprising.
Yeah. I mean, the REI guide was, crystal clear on this. Cotton is a no-go for cycling.
Really? Why is that?
So here's the thing. Cotton, right, it absorbs sweat and then just holds on to it.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right, so you end up all damp and clammy, which can be, well, just uncomfortable, let's just say that. And it can even lead to chills, especially when you're, descending or the wind picks up.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So synthetics or merino wool are the way to go.
Exactly, exactly. They're designed to wick away that moisture from your skin, keep you dry and comfortable. And we even saw some people on Reddit who, repurposed their running base layers for cycling.
Oh, wow. Okay, resourceful.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm guessing cycling-specific base layers might have some advantages.
Right, they often do, yeah. They often have features like flat lock seams, so they minimize chafing.
Oh, that's nice.
And, a slightly longer back for better coverage when you're leaning forward on the bike.
Okay.
And sometimes they even have, these strategically placed mesh panels for ventilation.
Okay, so breathable, comfortable.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, base layer, check. Let's go back to those padded shorts and bibs for a minute.
Okay.
What's the deal with that chamois pad?
So the chamois pad, it's designed to provide that, cushioning and reduce friction. But choosing the right one, well, that can be a little tricky.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Gel pads, for instance, they can feel amazing, initially, but some riders, they find they trap heat and can even, shift around during a ride.
Ooh, that sounds uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, not ideal.
So what about the other options? What else is out there? Yeah, a lot of cyclists, they swear by traditional chamois pads, particularly the ones with multi-density foam.
Okay.
So they're designed to conform to your body, offer some breathability, and provide more consistent support, especially on longer rides.
So there's like a science to it.
Yeah, there really is.
This reminds me of this hilarious comment we saw on Reddit, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, someone was describing their first experience with bib shorts as like a revelation. They said it solved like a lifelong underwear problem.
That's funny.
I guess finding the right fit is like really key here.
Absolutely. Proviz, they're a well-known cycling apparel company.
Right.
They really stress the importance of a good fit when it comes to bibs and shorts.
Makes sense.
Too loose and you'll get bunching and rubbing. Too tight, well, then you'll restrict blood flow. And that can lead to, discomfort and even numbness.
Okay, so Goldilocks applies to cycling shorts. Not too loose, not too tight, just right.
Exactly.
And I'm guessing fit is also crucial for jerseys, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Cycling jerseys are designed with, specific features that set them apart from just your regular t-shirt.
Right, right.
And those features have, like, real benefits when you're on the bike.
So like those pockets on the back?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like those are essential.
They're, like, strategically placed so you can easily access snacks, tools, your phone while you're riding.
Makes sense, yeah.
And the longer back, it provides that extra coverage, especially when you're in that riding position.
Yeah, yeah.
One Reddit user even mentioned getting sunburned on their lower back from wearing like a regular t-shirt.
Ouch. Yeah, a longer back definitely helps there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But I also saw some people talking about the aerodynamic advantages of jerseys.
Right? Yeah, Altura, they're a performance cycling apparel brand.
Okay.
They, highlight this a lot in their marketing.
Right.
So a well-designed jersey, it fits snugly and it reduces drag, which can actually make you faster.
Oh, wow.
It might seem like a small thing, but it can make a difference, especially if you're, riding competitively.
So it's not just about looking the part. It's about performance, too.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got our base layer, our shorts or bibs, and our jersey. What about when the weather throws us a curveball? I'm talking about layering for different temperatures.
Layering is key, right, for staying comfortable in all sorts of conditions.
Yeah.
And we found several sources, actually. Bike Radar, Cycle Scheme, and even some great discussions on Reddit.
Okay.
All kind of emphasizing the importance of a good layering system.
Gotcha.
And the idea is basically to start with your base layer and then just add or remove layers as needed, right? So think jerseys, jackets, arm and leg warmers, gloves.
So it sounds like a bit of an art form, honestly. Is there like a general rule of thumb for, how many layers to wear?
Well, it really depends, to be honest, on your personal preference and the specific conditions.
Okay, that makes sense.
But a good tip that we saw from a Reddit user was to start your ride feeling slightly cold. You'll warm up as you start cycling, and you don't want to, like, overdress and end up sweating too much.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good tip. Anything else to keep in mind when it comes to layering?
Yeah, one thing that kept coming up, especially in those Reddit forums, was, like, the importance of ventilation.
Okay.
So make sure those outer layers, they have zippers, so you can kind of adjust your temperature on the fly.
Gotcha.
Which is especially important if you're someone who, tends to overheat easily.
Yeah, for sure. Zippers for the win. All right, so layers, check. What about jackets specifically? What should we be looking for?
REI, they have some excellent advice on this.
Okay.
They really highlight the importance of wind and water resistance. Most cycling jackets, they offer some degree of both.
Okay.
But, the level of protection varies. So some jackets are designed for cold weather. They have that added insulation.
Gotcha.
Others are more, lightweight and packable.
So choose your jacket based on the typical conditions.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Think about the kind of weather you're likely to encounter, and then choose a jacket that provides the right level of protection.
Gotcha. Okay, jackets, check. Now what about shoes, gloves, and all those other essential accessories?
Comfortable shoes are a must, and if you're, like, doing any serious riding, cycling-specific shoes can make a huge difference in terms of efficiency and comfort.
Okay, yeah, I can see them.
And there are, different types of shoes for road, mountain, and gravel riding.
Oh, okay.
So you want to, choose a pair that kind of suits your discipline.
So shoes match to the terrain. What about gloves? Are those, like, essential?
Oh, absolutely. Gloves are crucial for hand protection, especially if you're riding on, like, rough terrain or in cooler weather.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And they also help to absorb vibrations from the handlebars,
Okay.
which, can reduce fatigue in your hands and arms.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. Okay, so gloves. Got it. Now let's talk about safety gear. Helmets, sunglasses, reflective gear. I'm guessing those are, like, non-negotiable?
Oh, yeah, they absolutely are.
Okay.
Try247, it's a triathlon website.
Okay.
They have this great article on helmets, and they really emphasize the importance of, having a cycling-specific helmet, ideally one with MIPS technology, for that added protection.
Okay, I've heard of MIPS, but I'm not exactly sure what it is. Could you break that down for me?
Sure. MIPS stands for Multi-Directional Impact Protection System.
Okay.
So it's basically a layer inside the helmet that's designed to reduce those rotational forces on the brain during a crash.
Okay.
So it basically allows the helmet to move a little bit on your head upon impact,
Hmm.
which can help dissipate those forces and, potentially reduce the severity of a head injury.
Wow, that sounds like a really important safety feature. What about sunglasses?
Sunglasses are like so important for protecting your eyes from, the sun, wind, and debris.
Right.
They can help prevent eye strain, fatigue, and even accidents.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And then reflective gear is important for visibility, especially when riding in low-light conditions, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, reflective gear makes you more visible to motorists, especially at dawn, dusk, or nighttime.
Right.
It's a simple but effective way to, just enhance your safety.
All good points. Now, we've been talking about, like, general cycling apparel so far.
Right.
But what about clothes specifically for commuting? I imagine there's some specific things to consider there.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. Commuting often requires a different approach to clothing. You need gear that can kind of transition from bike to office without looking too out of place.
Right. You don't want to show up to work looking like you just rolled off the Tour de France.
Exactly, exactly. And Cycling UK, they're a cycling advocacy group.
Yeah.
They have some good advice on this. And they emphasize the need for, versatile clothing that can kind of blend in with your everyday wardrobe.
And I remember seeing this review actually in Rouleur, it's a cycling magazine,
Yeah.
of these Rafa men's technical trousers. They look like regular trousers, but they're actually designed for cycling comfort.
Oh, wow.
They even have this hidden reflective logo that you can reveal by, like, rolling up the cuff.
I saw those.
Yeah.
That's a great example of how cycling apparel is like becoming more stylish and functional.
Yeah. Really clever design.
Yeah.
What about any other tips for commuters specifically?
Yeah, a common suggestion that we saw in like the bike commuting subreddit was to, keep a change of clothes at work,
Oh,
especially for, those sweaty commutes.
smart thinking. Yeah, I'd rather not subject my colleagues to, like, my post-ride aroma.
Exactly, exactly. And Cycling Wetly, it's another cycling publication.
Okay.
They recommend carrying, like a lightweight rain jacket.
Yes, yeah.
You never know when you might get caught in like an unexpected downpour.
Very true. Very true. That's good advice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, we have.
We talked about essential items, the layering system, the considerations for commuting, even the importance of safety gear. It's amazing how much there is to learn about cycling apparel.
It really is, yeah. I think it shows that cycling is more than just a sport, It's like a lifestyle. And the clothing you choose, it can really reflect, your personality and your approach to riding.
That's a great way to put it. All right, well, we covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive into cycling apparel. Are you ready to, like, delve a little deeper into this world and see what else we can uncover?
Absolutely. I'm ready for part 2. Let's go.
Okay, so we're back for part 2 of our deep dive into cycling apparel. We've covered, like, the essential stuff, the basics.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of curious about what's beyond that. What about, people who are really into cycling? Like, are there specific things they look for in their gear?
Definitely. As you get more serious about cycling, your needs and priorities, they kind of evolve. You start paying more attention to performance, durability, even sustainability.
Okay. It's not just about function anymore. It's about, like, optimizing your ride and
Yeah.
making, more conscious choices.
You mentioned sustainability. Is that something that's becoming more important in cycling apparel these days?
Absolutely. Cyclists are definitely, like, becoming more aware of the environmental impact of their gear.
Okay.
And we actually saw brands like AGU and Sundried.
Okay.
They were specifically highlighting, like, their use of recycled materials and ethical production practice.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
So it's not just about performance, it's about like responsible consumption too.
Exactly. And those brands are proving that you don't have to sacrifice performance for sustainability.
Yeah.
They're developing, like, these innovative fabrics and technologies that are both high performing and, environmentally friendly.
I'm curious, what are some of the like trends or innovations in cycling apparel that you found particularly interesting? Like what's catching the eye of those, more experienced cyclists these days? One thing that really stood out was just the increasing use of like advanced fabrics and technologies.
Okay.
So, we saw jerseys and jackets incorporating materials that are windproof, waterproof, and breathable all at the same time.
Yeah. It's amazing how far fabric technology has come.
It really is.
I remember reading about cold black technology in one of the Bike Radar articles. It's supposed to, like, reflect heat and keep you cool, even in, like, dark-colored clothing.
Exactly. It's a special pigment treatment that basically reduces heat absorption.
Okay.
So even if you're wearing like a black jersey on a sunny day, it won't feel as hot as you might expect.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's kind of a game changer, especially for those of us who, prefer darker colors.
Yeah, for sure.
What about innovations in terms of, like, comfort and performance? Anything, new on the horizon?
There's a lot of research and development happening around chamois pad design. Brands are using multi-density foam, gel inserts to provide targeted cushioning and support.
Really?
And some chamois pads are even designed to be like antimicrobial and moisture wicking.
Oh, wow.
So they keep you, fresh and comfortable on those long rides.
So even something as, like, seemingly simple as a chamois pad is,
Yeah.
like, constantly being refined and improved.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
It is. It is. And another trend we notice, which is, fantastic to see, is the focus on creating cycling clothing that's more inclusive, in terms of sizing and body types.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
We saw brands like Fat Lad at the Back,
Yeah. Yeah.
catering specifically to, plus-size cyclists.
Yeah.
And other brands are offering a wider range of sizes to accommodate, different body shapes and proportions.
About time, right?
I agree.
Cycling should be accessible to everyone, regardless of, their size or shape. And it's great to see brands recognizing this and, creating clothing that fits and flatters a wider range of bodies.
Yeah, absolutely. It sends like a really positive message about inclusivity in the cycling community. And speaking of inclusivity, we also noticed a trend toward gender-neutral or unisex cycling clothing,
Yes.
which is great.
Yeah, it's a welcome shift, I think,
Yeah.
that allows, everyone to express their personal style through cycling apparel, breaking down those, traditional gender barriers.
For sure.
It's it signals a move towards a more inclusive and diverse cycling industry.
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there's a lot happening in the world of cycling apparel beyond, just the basic gear. It's
Oh.
a like constantly evolving landscape with, innovation and inclusivity driving some really exciting changes.
It really is. But amidst all this talk about, technical fabrics, performance features, and all the latest trends,
Yeah.
I think it's crucial to remember that, the best cycling clothing is ultimately the clothing that gets you out there riding and having fun.
That's so true.
Yeah.
It's not about having the most expensive or stylish gear. It's about finding, what motivates you and makes you feel good on the bike.
Exactly. So think about what makes you, excited to ride, what makes you feel comfortable and confident, and then choose clothing that supports that.
I love that advice. It's a great reminder that cycling is about, so much more than just the gear. It's about the experience, the joy, the freedom of being out on the, open road or trail.
Mhm.
But having the right gear can definitely enhance that experience.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the final part of our deep dive where we'll distill all this information into key takeaways for you, our
All
listeners.
right, so we've journeyed through all those base layers,
Yeah.
explored all the crazy details of chamois pads, even touched on the future of this whole world of cycling apparel. So what does it all mean for the everyday cyclist out there?
It means you have options, right?
Yeah.
And knowledge. That's power when it comes to choosing, cycling gear. We've gone from those essentials to the cutting edge.
Yeah.
But the core message is this, the right apparel, it can totally transform your whole riding experience.
Okay, so for someone who's just starting out, what are the absolute must-haves, the things they should prioritize right away?
Definitely start with a good helmet. Safety first.
Of course, of course.
Then, invest in a pair of those padded shorts or bibs.
Okay.
Trust me, your future self will thank you for it.
Yeah.
And then don't forget a good base layer to, wick away that moisture and keep you comfortable.
All right, so comfort and safety, those are the foundation.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
And then you kind of build from there.
Exactly. Think about your riding style and the conditions you'll be riding in.
Okay.
Do you need a windproof jacket?
Yeah.
Are you riding in low light conditions and need reflective gear? Once you got those basics covered, you can start, experimenting with different layers and accessories to kind of dial in your perfect cycling wardrobe.
And it sounds like there's no need to break the bank right away.
No, not at all. You can find quality gear at a, variety of price points.
Yeah.
And remember, the most important thing is to just get out there and ride, right? The clothes, those are just tools to enhance your experience.
I love that. What I'm taking away from all this is that it's like a journey, you know? You learn as you go, you figure out what works for you, and, maybe you even develop your own, like, cycling style along the way.
That's it, that's it. And what's so fascinating is that cycling apparel, it's like evolved so much over the years.
Yeah.
It's gone from, purely functional to stylish, sustainable, even technologically advanced. Like, who knows what the future holds?
Yeah, it's true. Maybe we'll have, like, smart jerseys that monitor our, biometrics or self-cleaning shimmy pads.
Right.
But for now, I'm, like, feeling inspired to go out and find some gear that'll get me excited to ride.
That's the spirit. And remember, the best cycling apparel is the stuff that, makes you feel good and gets you out there enjoying the ride. So go explore, experiment, and find what works for you.
Yeah, that's great advice. Happy riding, everyone.